Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just a few weeks away from release, and in today's video I want to reminisce about some of my favorite moments from the OG game, moments that I'm really looking forward to seeing again in Rebirth. I think this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you haven't played Final Fantasy VII before, then I strongly advise you to not watch this video, as I'll be spoiling very important things about the story. Now, with that out of the way, on to the video. The party reaches calm after leaving Midgar, and Cloud tells a story of what happened between him and Sephiroth 5 years ago. One of the main reasons that I liked this part as much as I did was because up until now, you don't know who Sephiroth is. He's a mystery. I don't think you've ever even seen him at this point. Here you see that Sephiroth lives up to his name as a legendary hero, and you witness just how much more powerful he is than you are firsthand, as he easily kills everything you encounter throughout this sequence. But let's rewind, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. During this flashback, Cloud, Sephiroth, and 2 other soldiers arrive at Nibelheim, Cloud's hometown, and they make their way up to Mount Nibel's reactor to investigate reports of monsters appearing. Some events take place that lead Sephiroth to question his humanity, causing him to go mad. He then locks himself away in the Shinra Manor and learns the truth of his origins, then goes even more mad, ultimately leading him to burn down Nibelheim with everyone in it, and make his way back to Mount Nibel reactor to retrieve his mother, Jenova. The flashback ends with Cloud going after Sephiroth to make him pay for what he's done, except Cloud doesn't remember what happens after coming face to face with Sephiroth. The whole point of Cloud telling this story was supposed to be for the party to gain clarity on things. Who is Sephiroth, and how does Cloud know this guy? But instead you're left with more questions than answers. Why doesn't Cloud remember? What happened between him and Sephiroth? Why is Tifa questioning Cloud? Does she not believe him? Something is definitely off about Cloud's story. And the mystery is why I like this part as much as I do. The payoff that happens much later in the game is probably one of my favorite parts of Final Fantasy VII period. But I am kind of curious to see what version of events they go with. Will it be the OG Final Fantasy VII events, or will it be the Crisis Core events with Genesis being the one to reveal things to Sephiroth? Another one of my favorite moments is when the party reaches Cosmo Canyon, the home of Red 13. There you meet Bugenhagen, the wise elder of Cosmo Canyon and the adoptive grandfather of Red 13. Cloud and the group learn from Bugenhagen that Red's real name is actually Nanaki, and even though Nanaki is 48, he is the equivalent of 15 or 16 in human years. After giving the party an overview on planetology, which is basically the circle of life of the planet, Bugenhagen learns that Nanaki thinks that his father is a coward, that he ran away and left Nanaki's mother to die against the Gi tribe. Wanting Nanaki to see for himself exactly what happened against the tribe, Bugenhagen leads the party down into the depths where the tribe resides. The party fights their way through the cave, and at the end Nanaki sees the petrified body of his father Seto, who was turned to stone by the Gi tribe's poisoned arrows. He then realizes that his father wasn't a coward after all, but actually a hero who sacrificed himself to save his people. No longer feeling shame for his father, Nanaki vowed to become a great warrior like him and howled at the moon, while the petrified Seto sheds tears. I liked Red 13's growth as a character, even though once his storyline was done here, he was kind of on the sidelines for the rest of the game. Hopefully he does get fleshed out a lot more in Rebirth though. Barret's story is about a man who thinks he's doing the right thing, but ends up losing everything he loves because of Shinra's evil. When the party reaches North Coral, a town built by the survivors of the old coal mining town Coral, the people there vilify Barret. He tells his past to the group and how he blames himself for Coral being destroyed by Shinra, since he was the one who convinced his town to even let Shinra operate there in the first place. Later, when the party visits Gold Saucer, Barret angrily runs off on his own, and the party later finds people gunned down in the battle square. The survivor tells them that it was a man with a gun arm, leading them to think that it was Barret's doing. Cloud and the party gets thrown into Coral Prison and meet up with Barret, who tells them the rest of his past with his friend dying, how he got his gun arm, and how the doctor tells him of another man who had the same gun arm operation done. Barret tracks down the prison leader, who is none other than his old friend Dine, who is not only the other man with the gun arm, but also the one behind the murders at Gold Saucer. Dine was left traumatized by the loss of everything he ever cared about. His home, his family. He had nothing else in the world, and he didn't care about anything, claiming to want to destroy the world. Barret tells him that his daughter Marlene is still alive, but Dine attacks Barret, saying that he has to kill Marlene so that his wife wouldn't be alone anymore in the afterlife. After Barret wins this fight against Dine, Dine considers himself too far gone and throws himself off a cliff to his death. Again, much like Red 13's story, Barret's story is another one of the saddest parts of Final Fantasy VII. Barret thought that using Mako energy would be good for his town, but unfortunately that decision cost a lot of people their lives at the hand of Shinra. I talked about this moment before in a video that I did a few years ago, and I guess I'm talking about it again because although it's minor, it's a moment that really left an impression on me. It's when you come across the Midgar Zolom and you see how powerful it is. You definitely weren't killing that thing your first time coming across it, but you fight it and you either have to escape or be killed by it. The only way to cross the swamp safely is to get a chocobo and outrun the snake to the other side. But when you get to the other side, you see another one of these giant snakes impaled on a tree, and Cloud is like, this is Sephiroth's doing. I remember thinking, man, there is no way we can beat Sephiroth if there were 3 of us and we couldn't even kill this snake, and Sephiroth could just throw one up on a tree all by himself. This moment was meant to show you the great strength that Sephiroth had. It's subtle, but I think it's done very well. There are people who haven't even played Final Fantasy VII that knows about this scene. I don't like saying that this is a favorite moment of mine, but it's definitely left an impression on not only me, but many others who played this game. After the events that go down in the Temple of the Ancients, Aerith leaves the party and goes to the Forgotten City to pray for Holy, now that Sephiroth has his hands on the black materia. When the party finally catches up to her, Sephiroth tries to control Cloud and make him kill Aerith, but he is able to resist. As Aerith finishes her prayer, she looks at Cloud just before being impaled by Sephiroth, who descends from above. Aerith is dead. I was really young when I first played Final Fantasy VII, and at that point I've never encountered death of any kind. I remember being confused. Why couldn't I just use a Phoenix down like I had all the other times I died in the game up until now? When it finally sank in what had happened, I hated Sephiroth for what he had done to Aerith, and I couldn't wait to get my revenge. But I couldn't go any further. I was stuck. Not only due to the shock of losing Aerith, but because my second disc was broken and I had no way to continue. I was stuck replaying this moment for years before I was finally able to get a hold of a second disc and finally get past this point in the game. Kinda ironic that this is gonna be the exact moment that Rebirth ends, huh? Almost like history repeating itself. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know some of your favorite moments from the game down in the comments. If you liked the video, then please leave a like and subscribe if you want more videos like this one. This is my first video in a while, but I will definitely be making more, so don't miss out on them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.